Alright, there we go. So just the other day I put out my review for Star Wars Rogue One, or Rogue One, a Star Wars story, whatever you want to call it, and I like the film overall, but I wanted to do a spoiler discussion about this film because I haven't really done that before, and I feel like this is a great film to do it for. A lot of people are going to see this film, even if I'd said it was rubbish, people would have gone to check it out anyway. So I feel like it's a good place to talk about this film, and I have a lot of problems with this film. There's a lot of places on the internet, a lot of YouTube channels where if you want to just hear people talk a lot of positives about this film, say how much they love it, then you can go see them out there, people saying they have zero problems with the film, and that's fine with them. For me personally, I like this film, and like I said in my review, I liked it the same way I like Batman vs Superman, or another one I thought of afterwards was X-Men Apocalypse. You know, it was good. It had a lot of problems, but I still enjoyed myself overall. The goods just about outweighed the bads for me, but compared to what had came before, it was very still disappointing. The one thing straight away, there's no text scroll in this film, and I heard that going in. I thought that was fine. One thing that is weird, if you didn't know anything about this film going in and you just knew it was a Star Wars film, you'd watched all the other Star Wars films like once or twice, you have no idea where this takes place in the storyline for quite a while into the film. I feel like you could watch the first 20-15 minutes and be like, oh, this is just a new Star Wars film. I liked episode 7, this probably takes place after that. Oh, there's another Death Star, that's interesting. Oh no, this is actually a prequel. Like, I don't know if there's ever any point where you would realise that early on, because there's not really times, they don't really have years in Star Wars as far as I know. You don't really even know where it's taking place, and I feel like they could have had that in the crawl and tell you which planets the film is going to take place on, because then they do the worst thing I hate in films where they put text on screen, they just jump around to about 5 different planets in the first 5 minutes and like, oh, here's a minute of this person's story, here's a minute of this person's story. That does come after the Mads Mikkelsen opener, which I did think was great. That got me into the film and I was like, okay, this is going to be good. I feel like a lot of the time they told you about these characters but didn't actually show you, especially Jyn. They tell you that she's this badass soldier, and when she was 16-year-old, she was kicking all this ass, and this Forrest Whitaker's character had to kind of let her go do her own thing because he didn't want to put her in danger. We never really see her do anything badass. We never see her do anything that criminal. She's like in prison at the start, but we never really understand why, as far as I can remember. And especially the robot. I've heard a lot of people in reviews talk about the robot, saying they really liked it. He's alright like talking, but at the end of every sentence or at the end of every scene, he has to make a joke. He has to put like one extra line in there. It's like a stinger at the end of a trailer, but it's not a good one. Towards the end of the film, I did start to like him a little bit more. I did think there was one great part where she shot one of the robots that looked like him, and then he actually walked out. That was quite funny, and I thought that was well done. Other than that, my only really like kind of laughable moment, I know this is more of a serious film, was when Donnie Yen's character gets a bag put on his head and he says something like, oh, why are you putting a bag on my head? I'm blind. That was, for me, the funniest part of the film, probably the most memorable part of the film for me. I really did enjoy that. And Donnie Yen's character, as a whole, he was my favourite character in this film because I feel like they did a good job of creating a mystery around him. You see him, you don't really know what he's doing at first. He's this blind guy, he's got a staff. What's he going to do? Oh, he's just going to like kick 10 Stormtroopers' ass. And that was a really cool scene, and I feel like I liked him from that point. You never really understand why he's with this other guy, what their friendship is, and I feel like you never understand that about a lot of the characters. It just tells you how you should feel about the characters. It tells you should like Jyn because she saved this one girl at the start of the film. I guess this was probably like 30-45 minutes into the film. She saves this little girl, which felt like that was added in after the fact to me. The big tank fight's happening, and there's this random little child just off to the distance that she runs over and saves. And then that's it. She's never in the film again. And it just felt like, oh, we finished the film, but we never actually make anyone like this Jyn character. So we're going to add this scene in so you know that she's actually kind of a good girl, even though she was in prison. You don't know what for. It was just weird, and I thought the whole character development was handled very poorly. And especially the villain. I heard some other people say that they liked the guy in the white cape. I can't actually remember his name. He wasn't really very memorable to me. He never really seemed that threatening. He kind of seemed like a little bitch, to be honest, at a lot of points, especially when Darth Vader shows up and makes a pun. And then you've got Grand Moff Token, or whatever his name is, the guy from episode 4, who's in this film, a CGI character. Why did you do that? Just recast someone as that character. As soon as I saw him, I was like, why does his face look so weird? Then you see him from close up and it's like, oh, that's not a real person, that's a CGI character. Hopefully they don't show him again. Oh, here's him about 5-6 more times throughout the film. The minute I saw him and realised it was a CGI character, I was like, that looks like Tywin Lannister. Why not just cast him and playing it? You could find loads of actors who look like this guy. No one's going to complain because it's been 30 years since that film came out that he's actually in. Why not just recast him? I don't think anyone would be that bothered. It's so distracting. Every time he was on the screen, I feel like I didn't pay attention to anything he was saying because I was too busy just looking at his face like, why does your face look so fake? Whereas later on in the film, when we see Leia show up, I thought that was handled really well. They kind of tease it, they show her from behind, you're like, oh, they're actually going to show her face, and then we see her face for like 5 seconds, and it's not that close. I know it wasn't actually Princess Leia, but for me, I was like, for a split second, I was like, did they just get someone that looked like her? I didn't actually remember thinking that was like a really bad CGI like this of the character, and you can't really have something that distracting in a film like this. But now I will get a little bit more to the positives, because like I said, the end of this film, without a doubt, my favourite part, the last, I don't even know how long it was. It could have been an hour, it could have been 45 minutes, could have been half an hour. It just flew by. It was just non-stop from the moment they said, the part of the film where they say, what's your like name? And they say, Rogue One. From that point on, this film just had me hooked, and I was like, this is great, this is great, this is great. For the rest of the film leading up to that, I just felt like I was thinking, okay, when's this going to get great? When is this going to get great? I love the way they shot the AT-ATs. Obviously, this is Gareth Edwards, I believe. I can never remember which one's which. The one that did the raid, also Gareth something. He does a good job of making these AT-ATs look like monsters. They look very scary in this film. You look like, how are these small people going to be able to tackle these things? And they did a good job of making them seem very scary here. I watched that Godzilla film that he did a couple years ago. I watched it quite late. I'd already heard that it was good, and then I watched it and I was like, this is not very good. This is just fine. I feel like they did something in that film they did in this film, where like Bryan Cranston in that film was like, oh, my favourite character. I kind of liked him. He kind of had this interesting thing going on. And then they killed him. And then you have Mads Mikkelsen in this film. And it's like, oh, I really like Mads Mikkelsen. He had this great opening scene. We don't see him throughout the whole film. We finally get to see him. Is he going to get killed? He gets saved. Oh no, he gets killed. Mads Mikkelsen's dead. Like, what? It would have been way cooler if Mads Mikkelsen had teamed up with his daughter and gone down to turn on the Empire, take them down. Instead of having the bit where she hugged that Luna guy on the beach, imagine if that was like her father, and they finally, after all these years, they finally reconnect, they have a hug, and then the world ends. That would have been great. Whereas the Luna guy, they kind of hint at a bit of romance at the end when he comes back. I did think it was brave what they did, where they did wipe everyone out. They didn't even do like a thing where, oh, they got into a spaceship and did the ship get off or not? Maybe they could be another Rogue One story. It's like, no, they are dead. You just see the planet get wiped out, and then you get the great scene with Darth Vader. I feel like this film would have been better if he was just the villain. He's kind of just in the background here, and I feel like that was kind of wasted. But like I said, overall I did enjoy this film. I just had a lot of negatives I wanted to talk about, and I do think overall this film is disappointing compared to Episode 7, which for me, just throughout, I was loving the whole film. I had a smile on my face throughout. I went out of that film, I was like, this was great. This is one of my favourite Star Wars films. But I want to know what you guys think. Did you like Rogue One? Did you have as many problems with it as me? Are there any things that you think were great in this film that I didn't mention, or anything really bad that I didn't mention? One thing I did want to say about Jyn, I feel like she's like the kind of the opposite of Rey, where Rey was really good at everything. That Jyn character, I feel like I'm saying it wrong, because some of the characters in the film seem to say Jen, others say Jyn. She was not really very good at anything. They told her she's a badass. They told you she's like this criminal. You don't really ever see it. You just tell us that we should like this character because they're this, and that's not really what films should do. They should show you. Don't just tell me why she's great. Show me it. And they never really did that with any of the characters. I don't think anyone is going to be like, okay, I really want to put a toy from this film. Like, what character would you want a toy of from this film? I feel like lots of kids probably have Rey toys and Finn toys and BB-8 toys, and even like Kylo Ren. Who's going to be like, yeah, I really want to get a K2 toy to go next to my remote control BB-8, which seems like an amazing toy that I actually want. But anyway, thank you for watching. Let me know if you want me to do more spoiler reviews in the future. Even if you don't, I'm probably going to do it anyway, because I kind of like doing this. It's talking a bit more than a minute. Thank you for watching, and subscribe for more.